welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shibani Gharat. At the heart of the next technological evolution, one innovation shaping the future is fifth-generation wireless technology, or 5G. Promising speeds much faster than 4G and ultra-low latency, 5G is not just a mere upgrade, it is a full-scale revolution. 5G is positioned to completely overhaul the customer experience, opening up a myriad of new possibilities for marketers. Plus, 5G doesn't just deliver speed, it opens the floodgates to immersive technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. To discuss the impact of 5G on advertising and marketing today, we are joined in by Stella Medlicott, SVP Chief Marketing Officer and Head of Corporate Relations, Ericsson. Stella, welcome to CNBC-TV18 and welcome to Storyboard.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Stella, with the kind of the speed of 5G rollout that the country has seen, what is something that, marketers should take note of, according to you?
Oh, it's a great question, and it's certainly one that we've thought a lot about. And as you've talked about, 5G is rolling out very, very rapidly, and 5G is really it's the core of digitalization, and digitalization takes on board all applications and things such as AI, which is driving so much change across society as well. And from a marketing perspective, what 5G really starts to bring is a lot of different areas to focus around. This could be immersive experience. It could be being able to provide much more personalized content to your audiences. Also innovative content and sort of thinking about all of the way that creators of content can unleash their creativity as well, because there's going to be so many different ways to reach those audiences. But the other side of that as well is the importance that it will give around understanding audiences better. So this will give much more real-time communication around location of where people are. So things are trackable and marketing campaigns will be able to deliver much more return on their investments as well. And so a lot of this is really how we're working with our customers to develop these solutions, to share them with enterprises so that they can understand how they can take advantage of what 5G can bring.
Yeah, and you mentioned immersive experiences like AR, VR, and this has been much discussed. And, I mean, the conversations on AR, VR also, came forth first with Metaverse, and now again, grabbed the headlines again when Apple launched their own mixed reality headset like a couple of months ago. Going forward, if you can, probably give us an understanding on some of the cases or some of the things that marketers can work with in this domain with the use of 5G.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you think about AR and VR, as you say, and also mixed reality and extended reality, it starts to give so many different ways to reach those audiences. Already today, if you're thinking about it, you can start to look at things like when you're wanting to buy furniture, how it would look in your home, for example, or if you're wanting to try on clothes, what they would look like on your body shape. So with 5G, what this gives you is so much more opportunity to have much more data that's going through the network, as well as a lot more personalized content as well. So what this would start to bring is this ability for people to be able to create that experience. You can understand that experience and look at buying products and how they will look either on you or in your home environment as well. So really starting to engage that much more immersive experience with the end consumer.
Yeah. Also, Stella, if you can tell us, how does Ericsson look at the India market? At one end, if you look at 5G, the rollout happened much later as compared to some of the global markets. It was much later than that, but the speed of it was much fast. Plus, now many of the Indian customers are still in the rural markets in tier 2, tier 3 cities, still on 2G and 3G. But at the same time, the cost of data is getting, is getting cheaper. So how do you look at this entire dynamic? How do you look at India as a case?
I mean, India is a remarkable case, really. The pace of rollout that you've had in India is phenomenal. And India really is a digital-first economy as well. So we're very, very excited about what we're seeing across India. And I'll give you some examples of how India is comparing to the rest of the world, because a lot of the things that we do is also looking at how consumers are using data and how that is changing. So just to give a couple of examples, globally, the average smartphone user will use about 20 gigabytes of data per day. Per month. And in India, that is one of the highest markets, where it's at 28 gigabytes per month. And also when we look and we do the projections going out, we see that that's likely to increase to a phenomenal 68 gigabytes by 2028 as well. So that growth is really, really big. And so that's a CAGR of about 16%. We also see that smartphone subscriptions are now really increasing in India. So that's expected to grow from a 76% today to 93% by 2028. So a lot more people are now getting smartphone devices. And when we look at our consumer lab study, we've literally just done a study focusing on India. And this looks at technology attitudes, but also the affordability from a technology perspective, to talk to your earlier point about the fact there's still a lot of 2G, 3G use out there. So it's expected that 31 million users can upgrade to 5G phones just in 2023 alone. And then the other piece when we look at this is in 2022, in India, there were 29 billion app downloads. And in India, we see that users are spending more than, on average, 2 hours more per day using these apps than the early adopter market. So although you've been late to the market, the Indian consumers are actually really immersing themselves in the technology, which gives a brilliant opportunity to marketeers, because it gives you that very active audience as well.
And how can they also track their, or certain trends when it comes to consumers? How can they track that consumer behavior better? You also touched upon, how they get access to faster data, faster consumer data, especially in today's cookieless world. But then, if you can throw in some light on how can they access or have more access to the consumer behavior?
Absolutely, because obviously what this gives is this, as we talked about, this plethora of ways of reaching your audience with creative and innovative content. But also what 5G gives you is much more precision around locations of users, for example. So you would know if somebody is very near one of your stores or might be very near one of your restaurants. And so you can then promote with offers that will go out to those consumers as well. So what we start to see is much more ability to understand how customers are looking at information, how they're also engaging much more outside of the digital environment as well. So you can really start to build up a very strong picture. And obviously with 5G, what it gives you is it gives you that limitless connectivity, which basically means that you can be processing data much faster as well, and being able to be very agile and being able to sort of put very personalized offerings out to those consumers as well. And so it's really benefiting on both sides, both being able to be creative, but also being able to understand much more about the audiences themselves and their preferences and their behaviors. So that will give us many. So
hyperlocal is something, with the location accuracy with 5G is something that will work very well. And we have seen a lot of those, especially during the mega events that the country sees, like the IPL, with broadcasted in multiple languages, where many of the local brands come on board. Also startups, local startups, getting on the hyperlocal journey. So that journey is going to be easier with 5G.
Absolutely.
Apart from that, over the past 3 years, in fact, we have seen how many of the businesses are going on their respective, digital transformation journey, and at a faster pace, of course, owing to the pandemic. If you can also share with us, Stella, how are they adopting 5G technology?
Businesses overall. Well, I mean, 5G, when we looked at launching 5G, what we saw really was that the main benefit, although there's so many consumer benefits, as we've talked about with all of the different devices that are now available, but really 5G is transformative to industry and to business as well. When we look at 5G, what it enables is the ability for companies to become much more streamlined in their operations, their ability to be able to track where products are in the life cycle. So for example, from ports or transportation, you can be tracking where goods are, and makes you much, much more efficient. And so there's many use cases that we have, obviously out into industries to be able to do that. So that's the back end, if you like, from an industry or enterprise perspective. But also it enables very much at that front end. So the sort of sales and the marketing audiences where you're wanting to engage with customers as well. And we're building, we're also on top of the 5G network, building a global network platform. And what this enables is for any app developers to be able to leverage and use the the network capabilities, if you like, which could be around sort of having quality of service or that location metrics that you're looking for, and to be able to build their interfaces out to their consumers based on that. And that could be much more about the customer experience, the customer journey. So really getting a much closer relationship with your customers as well. And so across enterprises, there are so many use cases, both on sort of almost helping you to drive your productivity, but also helping you to really improve your relationships with your end customers as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today, Stella.
Thanks very much for having me.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Shreyan Daga, the co-founder of edtech startup OLL, with whom we are discussing his entrepreneurial journey, his involvement with CNBC-TV18's Skill Tank.